Are you fetishized? Can I touch your hair? Your skin is so interesting. I bet you don't even have to tan. I never would have known you were black by the way you act. Your hair is so fluffy. It's like a sheep. Are you sure you can afford that? You're like white though, right? Oh my gosh, I have a gay friend. You should meet them. Do you have HIV? Can we go shopping together? Ha ha ha, you're so extra.
Growing up in a very strong matriarchal presence of a black mother with an absent white father, my hair was always a marker of who I was. And growing up in Naperville, a predominantly white class community, hair was something that we didn't talk about in my family unless it was something that we were forgetting about, something that we were hiding, something we were trying to ignore because it made us different.
I lived in one of the most cliche types of suburbs that you could probably ever live in. White picket fences, friendly neighbors, but more specifically all white. My family, despite being biracial, my parents ended up splitting, and when my dad remarried, he remarried a white woman. So for the majority of my life, I grew up in a family with two white parents in an all-white community, going to a school where I was usually the only black person.
Growing up in small-town Iowa, we were conditioned to act a certain way, to talk a certain way.
Something a lot of people have always told me is that I'm pretty white for a black girl. And it didn't used to hurt me the way it does now. It was something that I kind of just thought of as normal because I did grow up in Naperville, a pretty white community where I was usually the only black person in a classroom. And so I kind of took it as a backhanded compliment.
The one outlet I had of my black culture, of my black family, was my mother, and with her gone, I had nothing. I had TV shows, I had music, but none of that would have ever been enough to fill that hole, that understanding, that connection with a culture that I was a part of, but I felt so distant from.
The only black person around me was my sister Amaris. And growing up, we kind of just stuck together because we looked similar to each other.
Remember when they were jealous of my black curls, so they pulled on them until my scalp itched with the prickle of restraint against their ignorance.
He said, "Do you know why black people are so fast? It's because they had those slave running feet, you know, so they could get away from the slave catchers."
One of my so-called friends sent me a text message responding to me saying that I was doing the laundry with the text, "Good job, N-word."
One of my teammates remarked, "Oh, but we have a black guy." And I just remember hearing that and going, not for very much longer. I quit pretty soon after that because of another instance. We were getting on the bus to go to an away game, and this kid named Kyle on the bus said, "Why do you act gay all the time?" And my sassy little self on the bus was like, "Why do you act gay?" And he said, "What? No, I don't." And I was like, "Neither do I."
He thought it would be okay to talk about the fact that black people are fast. And yes, there are some black people that are fast, but there are also a bunch of other people that aren't black that are fast.
In high school when I was applying for colleges, I would get comments like, "Oh, you're definitely going to get in. Like, you're going to get a scholarship, you're going to get in wherever you want, like, screw you."
Well, you're only half black. You can only be half offended by what I said. And stuff like that was really hurtful because it basically told me or reinforced within me that I didn't have a full identity. I couldn't be a whole person.
White people will like to use a lot of ebonics and so-called colloquialisms and black people talk, but it rubs me the wrong way because it's like they're forcing something that they aren't naturally accustomed to. They're trying to be something that they're not. When I talk like this is just who I am. I don't speak black, I don't speak white, I don't speak queer. I just speak because that's how you communicate to people.
Whenever I try to use slang or try to use the same wording, same phrasing, and switch my code to match theirs, it comes off as unauthentic. I don't feel like me. I feel like I'm almost pandering to this group.
We know what it feels like to be black in an all-white town, but we don't know what it feels like to be black with black people. So in that area, in that arena, I was completely unprepared to be seen as white. And then to be seen as gay.
In my Black culture, that is not okay. Being gay or bi or whatever you identify as that is not straight and cis is not something that is okay with my Black side of my family.
We don't talk about sexuality as much as we ever talked about race. So I don't know when or even if I'd be willing to come out to my parents or even discuss my bisexuality with my parents.
After my father passed away, I decided to come out of the closet because I knew for a fact that I wouldn't have been able to do that while he was alive, which was something personally hard to come to terms with, that in some ways I was glad that he was dead because now I was able to fully be myself.
You don't feel like safe or okay with embracing something that goes against the status quo or the cultural norm. It didn't really occur to me until high school that I might be interested in women.
That is what kind of scared me. It's what kept me silent. It's what kept me kind of pushing back the thoughts and just letting them be thoughts.
You are going to be singled out. And so me coming into touch with who I am as a queer person is something that I am not fully comfortable with yet.
And it even comes down to how I'm walking, how I'm talking, what I'm wearing. Are my jeans too tight? Is my head too high? And it's exhausting.